and he's putting on the handle.
From putting the NBA G League on fans' radar to bringing the sorely missed excitement back to All-Star, here's how McClung is single-handedly changing the NBA. 3 massive dunks at a time. You know how it all went down. McClung entered the NBA All-Star game as the ultimate underdog, only known for being a viral high school sensation, to getting the 2022 Rookie of the Year in the G League. This 6'2" tall player shocked everyone that night. Surprisingly, though, he was still expected by most to win that night, and much of this hype was generated by his well-placed faith in his abilities. Mac said he'd show fans something they'd never seen before in the history of All-Star, and that's exactly what he did. Spectacular jumps, speed, and creative moves led the Sixers player to his victory that night. His first dunk was an instant hit. He got a perfect score, which is all the more commendable because the test was quite difficult too. This was a move people had seen before, but the way he crashed the ball on the backboard while in the air was simply mesmerizing. The second dunk didn't look as good as the first one, but that's only if you've watched it once. Go see it again right now, and you'll see how efficiently McClung has handled the ball for the two-handed two. That was unforgettable, but certainly nothing was as awe-striking as the final round. For nostalgia and the internet's sake, Mac put on his trending high school jersey and did a 540-degree spin in the air. That was something people had never seen before. And just like that, this young player became the highlight of not just the slam dunk contest, but the entire All-Star event. Everyone is talking about him. Honestly, you can't think of 2023's event without remembering this splendid show of talent. It's simply impossible, and he deserves it as well. Mac has been waiting for his moment of glory for a long while now, and it's about time he got it. Twitter has been raving on and on about how this guy just revived the once-alive dunk contest, which leads us to the million-dollar question. Why did it even need to be revived in the first place? What led to its demise? And when did that happen? Longtime fans may remember that the OG slam dunk looked nothing like what it does right now. It used to be a completely different world. You wouldn't even be seeing underdogs from the G League here. NBA legends like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, and Dominique Wilkins were at the forefront back then. They were the reigning champions of the 80s and 90s. With all due respect to Mac, how'd we even come from that to this? Don't get me wrong, I'm glad underrated players are getting a chance to showcase their talent, and getting these players on board has given us moments fans may never forget. But doesn't it make you question why major names of today aren't a part of the contest anymore? You see, much like most other pro sports, NBA's landscape has gone through many changes over the last 20 years, especially in terms of the All-Star game. Everyone knows that the East versus West format was scrapped in 2018. The league wanted to make the game more competitive, so they made this change. But this isn't the only major change that was brought in. Fans also saw a new scoring system for the game. The fourth quarter would now be played under a target score system, as opposed to the typical timeout, and the first team to reach the target would win. While this may seem innovative, the new format led to more issues than praise. It was exciting the first time around because it led to an adrenaline rush in the final minutes of the game. But sometimes that would never happen. You'd have the guaranteed winner even before the fourth quarter started, and it wouldn't be exciting anymore. As a result, both fans and players were dissuaded from being involved in the game, and you can see that clearly in the viewership numbers this year. Because, in case you haven't heard, this year's All-Star Game was the least watched midseason showcase on record. You heard that right. The All-Star Game, which is literally known to attract players, saw the lowest viewership numbers for the NBA. Sunday night averaged about 4.5 million viewers, and that's counting in the Inside the NBA broadcast on TBS. This is the first first time an All-Star Sunday game hasn't hit the 5 million viewer mark. Saturday was even worse, seeing only 3.42 million viewers watching on TNT, making it also the first time the All-Star Saturday game has gotten less than 4 million viewers. Fans were eager to see Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Zion Williamson as starters in the game. After all, they were some of the only big names attending, and even they couldn't make it due to injuries. Plus, aside from lacking star power, this year's game also lacked defense. And I don't just mean good defense, I mean defense period. I know this one's been an issue for quite some years now, but it's never been as bad as this one. Trust me on that. Even Michael Malone, who coached Team LeBron, called it the worst basketball game ever. League officials themselves acknowledged just how embarrassing it was. Boston's Jaylen Brown went so far as to say, "That wasn't basketball." LeBron James also chimed in, saying he enjoyed the previous format much more. See, this is why players decline invitations now. And you know these issues weren't only seen in the All-Star game. Viewership has gone down in the NBA as a whole. It just doesn't seem so serious anymore. Fans keep seeing weaker and less passionate players year by year. Perhaps this is why a lot of basketball lovers have turned to watch college football, to see players who really want to make a name for themselves. More and more people have started calling for G Leaguers like McClung to come into the scene right now, because it's G League players like him who've restored fans' hopes in the NBA. The 24-year-old's insane moves made me feel like I was in the 90s, when Kobe and Jordan were dominating the slam dunk scene, back when the All-Star was something to really look forward to. But Mac hasn't just changed things for the big leagues, he's also done it for his home ground, the G League. His dazzling performance certainly struck a chord, and fans have started taking more interest in underdogs like him. And what better place to look for underdogs than the G League? But more than that, they really want to see McClung in full-blown action. They saw him shoot 3 massive baskets. Now they want to watch him win a game. The Virginia native returned to his G League career with the Delaware Bluecoats soon after his big win, and he was welcomed like no other. Ticket sales were soaring that night. The Bluecoats announced that upwards of 1,600 fans were in attendance for the matchup versus Motor City Cruise. Larry Melly, the team's president of business operations, confirmed that ticket revenue was 5 times the average. Yep, not double, not triple, 5 times. That too on a weeknight. This is the amount of power Mac holds over everyone now. Larry said, "We certainly have a new and wider audience, and everyone knows who gets the credit for that." He knew that as well, as he expressed just how proud he was for McClung being on their team. Melly also says that he expects the next games to be sold out and at a full capacity too. What's more, fans weren't shy to admit their real reason for coming either. Many signs showed their love for Mac, with one even calling him for president in 2023. It was endearing and amusing at the same time. And I don't know about you, but it certainly restored my faith in this community. And that's all about how McClung is changing the NBA.